The Raiders haven't had a good head coach in a long time. I mean, when you think about it, I can't remember the last time they had a dependable coach, or at least a solid one. Some former head coaches who failed miserably with the Raiders, including Jon Gruden, Tom Cable, Denis Allen, and the most recent one who was just fired, Josh McDaniels. The only coach who was okay-ish was Jack Del Rio, who at least got them to the playoffs. You want to know the last time they had a good head coach? Jon Gruden. I know I just said he failed, but that was recent, which was his second time coaching the Raiders. He actually did a good job coaching his first time around, as he went 4 seasons and didn't have a losing record. He won the division in 2 of them, and it's been downhill since. The 2023 season for the Raiders has gone as bad as you could think. They only had 3 wins up to the point where they fired McDaniels, and all of those wins were against bad teams. They were against the Broncos, Packers, and Patriots. Those aren't difficult teams to beat. The final straw that got McDaniels fired was losing to the Bears and doing so horribly against the Lions. The Bears should have been an easy win, and they lost by 18 points. Then against the Lions, they couldn't do anything. They scored 14 points, but one of those touchdowns was a defensive interception. The offense couldn't do anything other than the one good drive. Their biggest issue has been the quarterback play. For years, they had who may think is a top 15 quarterback, Derek Carr. Then they gave him up and signed Jimmy G. I get the idea. You want to run the ball with Josh Jacobs, who led the league last season in rushing yards, and have a game manager who doesn't churn the ball over. The issue is, Jimmy G has churned the ball over a lot, as he's thrown the most interceptions in the NFL this season. It's gotten to a point that they're starting the rookie Aiden O'Connell probably for the rest of the season, who also just got a big win against the Giants. But this is actually not a bad thing for the Raiders. The offense as a whole isn't too bad. They have a good trio of receivers with Davante Adams, Jacoby Myers, and Hunter Renfrow. Davante Adams, though, is at 573 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, and he still has a shot of going over 1,000 yards. Josh Jacobs is still a top running back the team can rely on. He has 506 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. The O-line is a big issue that won't help the rookie quarterback, but they do have enough talent to make up for it. They're definitely not the worst in the league. On defense, the only great player is edge rusher Max Crosby. This guy is a beast. He's racked up 9.5 sacks so far this season, which is tied for the second in the NFL. He's tied with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. That's some good company to be around. The crazy part is, he was a 4th round pick. That means 12 edge rushers were drafted before him. The only one of those that has more sacks than Crosby is Nick Bosa, and that might change since he only has 3 sacks so far this season compared to Crosby's 9.5. This guy is passing expectations by a lot. However, now that Josh McDaniels has been fired, Antonio Pierce is their interim head coach. He was hired as their linebackers coach last year and now is the Raiders' interim head coach. That's a lot of responsibility for someone who doesn't have a lot of coaching experience, as this was his 2nd year as a position coach, let alone a head coach now. Surprisingly, he got his first win last Sunday. I guess that's not that surprising because it was against the Giants, who might end up as the worst team in the NFL this season. Still, winning in the NFL is not easy. The Raiders seem to just do better with interim coaches. The last time was in 2021 when Jon Gruden was fired mid-season, and the Raiders still made it to the playoffs with their interim head coach that year. I doubt that happens this season, but they might be a better team now. They have the running back, the receivers, and the pass rusher to win some games. Still, don't count this team out. I'm pretty sure they're looking to upset some teams this season with their new interim head coach, and then go into a rebuilding phase after the season. Bitch, we some stars, pull up in foreign cars.